Hi everyone! So I was not planning on filming today. I'm sorry if the lighting is off. It is later than I usually film and I don't have a lighting kit, so I'm working with what I have. I was out later than I usually would be on a filming day, but I've been wanting to make this video for a long time and it's not really a video I could plan and film whenever I wanted. So I figured, why not just film it when I got home? And so I decided to just go for it. I've been wanting to make a video about being manic when I am manic for a very long time. I know I've made a video about being bipolar, and in that one I highlighted a lot of my manic symptoms. However, it's a lot different to talk about being manic when you are not manic. In that video, I tried to think back to a lot of the symptoms I had during manic episodes. Every manic episode I've had, the symptoms do differ a little, but I think that it is a lot more helpful to talk about it while I'm actually experiencing those symptoms and living through it. So last night when I was straightening my hair at 12:30 at night with absolutely no desire to go to sleep, and not only no desire, but knowing that there was no way in hell I'd be able to fall asleep even after taking my Lunesta, I realized that I was definitely in a manic episode. Now, I'm going to put the disclaimer that I'm pretty sure that this would fall under a hypomanic episode, but still a manic, because I was thinking about it and I realized that I have not fallen asleep for 2 to 3 o'clock for the past, I think, 4 or 5 nights, and all of those nights I could not fall asleep. I also woke up pretty early all but one night, and that one night I took Xanax, still couldn't fall asleep for quite a while, and then I was just like drugged out. So yeah, I'm going to talk about the symptoms I'm currently having. I'm going to talk about the more positive symptoms, also the more negative symptoms. I'm going to start with the more positive symptoms because for anyone who's just clicking into this video and does not stick around, I don't want to start with the negative and add to the stigma with bipolar mania. I've realized that mania kind of is, most people have a bipolar idea of bipolar mania. They either see it as this like horrific side of a disorder where when you're manic you're this like terrifying human that's just gonna like destroy things, or they see it as this like wonderful symptom where you're just artistic and so productive. The reality, at least in my case, is definitely in the middle and not anywhere near either of those extremes. So I'm gonna start with the positive and then I'm gonna go to the negative, and I don't think any of my symptoms are anywhere near those. For the positive, I've gotten so much more done over the past few days than I have in months. Now, part of that is probably that I was in the car accident in January. I've been in so much pain until the past couple of weeks, so I haven't been able to do too much, and for the past month I've been incredibly ill, so I couldn't have got much done anyway. But when I'm in a manic episode, my anxiety does significantly go down, and obviously I don't suffer from as many depression symptoms unless I'm in a mixed state, which is a completely different video. So over the past week, I have gone to 2 television tapings where I was an audience member and paid. I have applied for multiple jobs. I've been studying for the LSAT. I have just been getting stuff done. It's been wonderful. You would think that that would be when I would have realized that I was in this kind of mindset, but nope. Oh, also, clearly, like, I'm filming right now. I put out 2 videos this week. I'm filming this week. However, this probably won't go up until Monday. I'm going to start backlogging videos, so hopefully I'll have some content to put up for a while now. I'm also seeing friends more. It's fantastic, also since I've been sick. Production definitely goes up with me when I'm manic, and I really appreciate that because with my depression, with my anxiety, that can really nag on me sometimes. Another upside to being manic in general is that my anxiety does go down quite a bit. I am not held back by it as much. I'm not just constantly rethinking things all of the time. So that's a huge plus as someone with a pretty intense anxiety disorder. anyone who suffers from anxiety, like, could imagine how wonderful it is to kind of, it doesn't flip off, but it definitely goes down significantly during these periods. I'm not second guessing myself. I'm not constantly wondering if I said something wrong or did something wrong. I put myself out there a lot more during these periods. However, I'll bring up a downside to my mania that goes with that. When I don't have the anxiety holding me back and I do have the mania pushing me forward, I tend to make decisions I wouldn't otherwise make, and make somewhat rash decisions. So like in my case, there are people that I might text that I would not otherwise text. It tends to be like a list of people who I, in my everyday life, don't necessarily want in my life anymore, and yet when I'm manic, just go for immediately. Think of it as like a little black book of people. I don't have a little black book putting it out there in my regular life or in my manic life, but there are definitely a couple people who will get that text when I'm manic, and one of them probably knows who they are and definitely got a Snapchat today, and has not responded yet, but I expect that to come soon. So yeah, I know it's happening. I clearly still have some control over what's going on. I usually will text my close friends telling them to try to stop me, and usually that happens, but if my closest ones aren't awake, because my best friend lives out of the country in a completely different time zone, not so smart decisions sometimes happen. That's a really frustrating thing with manic episodes, is it's not that you lose any amount of control over yourself, it's that you don't really care as much about some of the decisions that you're making. In my case, it doesn't get to the point of horrific life-changing decisions most of the time, so I don't care as much, and especially when I'm in the state, I don't care at all. But I know that for some people, this can be a lot worse. Now, the one negative that definitely is something that I keep a close eye on, and I do keep all control over, is I have an urge to drive recklessly. I talked about that in my other video, and I keep extreme caution with that, and I make sure to keep full rein on that, because especially living in LA, that could be extremely dangerous, and I'm not about to put myself or anyone else in danger because of my disorder. So while I have the thoughts in my head of, we could get there so much faster, this could be more fun, push on the pedal, I don't cave into like the more racing type of thoughts, because there's the more logical part of me still in my brain, and I don't go for that. Clearly, there's some parts of this that, while it's fighting in there, I don't let win over. And I guess the last negative would be the sleep. The sleep is important to me, and I think the most frustrating to me, because unlike the driving, where I battle it and I win, I've never not won the driving part, the sleep isn't something I can win. My body just feels like it doesn't need as much, and I'll be up at 2 a.m. after staring at the ceiling for over an hour, just not able to sleep, which is so frustrating. And then I'll wake up at 7 a.m. and not be able to fall back asleep, and I'll realize I've gotten under 5 hours of sleep. My body will feel exhausted, but my mind will start racing. And not feeling like you have control over your own body is just the most crazy making feeling, at least for me. So I try to treat that part with sleeping meds, which sometimes works, it sometimes doesn't. I've tried a lot of things with that one. It is, I don't want to say it's the worst symptom for me. I do think that the driving one potentially is, if it was to ever win out, but it hasn't at this point. The reason that one, the sleep one, is for me the worst symptom is, for me personally, a manic episode can go from neutral or even kind of positive because of the productiveness, being with friends. I do tend to feel somewhat happy in my manic episodes, so it can go from positive or neutral to a negative situation really quickly. And I've noticed some correlation between not sleeping and suddenly crashing in this episode and I don't like chancing that. So I try really hard to get as much sleep as possible, even though my body is pushing, feeling like it can go 100 miles an hour and just doesn't want to stop. It wants to watch 500 YouTube videos. It wants to put out 200 resumes. It just wants to push everything, make as many YouTube videos as possible. Go, 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 because you don't know how long you're going to have this. Surprisingly, I have not spent any money really on this one. I went to Starbucks. I got 2 Starbucks drinks today, because the first Starbucks I went to didn't have this beautiful, kind of disgusting drink. I know everyone and their mother has made a video on that unicorn thing. I'm not gonna make you guys go through a video about it. Oh, as it mixes, it gets worse. It started out not being that bad. It gets worse. That's my like mini video on that. I'm glad that's not permanent. But so yeah, that's my experience with mania. Like this video if you suffer from mental illness. If you have any questions about bipolar disorder or mania in general, please just leave a comment down below or ask me on Twitter or whatever you feel comfortable with. I will try to answer anything that isn't just really, really invasive. And subscribe to this channel for more like mental health type videos. I'm gonna try to be as open and candid on this channel as possible, and even if that means jumping on a camera at the end of the day when I realize I'm fucking manic. So I hope you all have a great day. I'm gonna go on with mine, and yeah, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.